Hey there friends, it's Kelly. I am back today with a new process video for a new project that I just recently started. And I'm going to go through at first here and just kind of give you a glimpse of what I have done. I haven't really gotten too far. I basically just have my photos trimmed and kind of laid out where I want them in the album. I have a few pictures and a few pages scrapbooked here and there, but for the most part, it is bare bones and ready to be put together. So I did start this album when I was in a Zoom session with Heba and some of her peaches, which was a lot of fun. I didn't get very far in it because we were all chatting, but this is a album that I'm putting together for a trip that I took in, I believe it was 2019. It was a work trip to Los Angeles. So I have some photos. We had one day where we did some touristy things, and then the other days were classes and things like that, which I do have some photos that I will be documenting for that as well. I'm using a mix of products throughout this album, and this is a album from Citrus Twist. It is one of the Life Crafted albums, and I am using a kit from Studio Calico, which you saw a little bit as I was flipping through, and then I'm also using a lot of product from my stash. I am not a big traveler. It's not something that I greatly enjoy. I enjoy going on vacation every once in a while, but I am very much a homebody. So I don't use my travel products as much as I should because we don't go anywhere. And especially in the era of COVID, nobody is going anywhere. So I have a lot of these products just sitting in my stash. So for this spread I am putting together right now, I am using, I think it's the Pinkfresh Studio, their travel collection that they had out, I think in 2019. It's the Out and About collection, I believe is what it's called. So I'm just using some different products from that collection. The tag was part of the journal set, and then I have a die cut that I'm going to add right on top of that. I thought that it would be fun to add another tag on the top part of the spread on the left-hand side, but I didn't have another tag that was the same shape. So I just used the 6x6 paper pad and cut a tag in that shape, and then I used a hole reinforcer punch to punch out a blue hole reinforcer so it matches the tag on the bottom right hand side, and then I'm adding another die cut kind of tucked underneath that tag that I created. I do want to create a little bit of lift in these pages and a little bit of dimension. The Citrus Twist albums, if you've used them before, the binder ring is not very thick. So even though I'm not working necessarily in a traveler's notebook, I still have to be careful on how much dimension I'm adding because I do want to make sure that all of my photos and all my pages fit within one album. I will add my journaling off camera to that yellow tag once I can get into Photoshop and get that typed out. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to a second spread. Now this spread, I am using pattern papers from I believe it was Here and There. I think it was a crepe paper collection. You might be able to see it on the front of the 6x6 paper pad. But I'm also going to use a stamp from Everyday Explorers. It says something along the lines of travel adventures. You won't see this on social media kind of thing. And this was the first time that I had ever been on a subway before. I'd never ridden on one, and it was quite the experience. I had never been involved in anything like that before. So, very strong urine smell in the elevator that we had to use to go down to the platform. The floor was wet on the elevator. We kept telling ourselves that it must have just been cleaned. The smell was so strong that one of the girls that I was with, actually, she put hand sanitizer in our hands, and we had to cover our noses as we rode down in the elevator. It was awful. Our experience coming home on the subway was much more enjoyable. It was clean. There were seats. We were able to sit down. But it was not something that I look forward to doing again anytime soon. I live in a very small town in Indiana, so the homeless situation that is happening in Los Angeles, which I know that I only got a very small glimpse of it because I was only there for a few days, was very eye-opening and something that I honestly had never experienced before. So it was definitely something that I brought home with me and something that I still remember and I actually think about to this day. All right, so let's get back to the actual process video here and what I am doing. So I'm just trimming down the white border on those photos a little bit. I did cut out a couple of the cut aparts from the Here and There collection, and I'm going to add those as layers behind my photos. This size of a scrapbook layout is something that I still struggle with just a little bit. It's hard for me to get the photos laid out, especially horizontal photos. I find the size of those, it just fills up so much of the page that it can be a little bit challenging. So trying to figure out how I want to get things laid out it was tricky, and something that I think will get easier as I get used to working in the size. So I did run that yellow paper, which I think I forgot to mention, but that yellow paper is actually from the Maggie Holmes Sunny Days project pad, the 12 by 12 pad. It just matched the pattern paper on the left-hand side that is from the Here and There collection, which is a subway map type pattern, which I thought was fitting for this layout. Now I'm going through and taking some of the chipboard pieces that I'm going to use, and I am removing a lot of the chipboard. I mean, I'm taking it down almost all the way to the design. Like I said, I don't want to add too much bulk to this album, so I'm trying to keep things as thin as possible, but still have a little bit of dimension in there. So now I'm just working on getting a few things adhered together. I am going to use some staples. I'll use some liquid adhesive and just work on getting everything adhered down. And I thought that Subway Guide chipboard piece was perfect. It couldn't have worked out any better. And the colors matched that yellow pattern, or that yellow cardstock paper that I'm using there, perfectly. I wanted to bring in just a little bit more color, so I took another piece from the cut apart, and I'm just going to trim that up, and I'm going to add 2 pieces to the left hand side and then 1 piece to the right hand side. And it just so happened to work out that those copper glitter arrows fit right on top of the arrows of the cut apart pieces, so I'm just going to add those right on top just to add a little bit more dimension and just to add a little wow factor, I guess you could say, to those pieces. So then I wanted to add in just a little bit more pink, because I do have some pink where I added that stamp and fussy cut it out. I did add a gray Subway circle sticker, so I went ahead and added another circle sticker to the left hand side that is that pink color, and that is a sticker from Citrus Twist from a kit. I believe that was last year. I'm trying to decide if I need to bring in a third circle just to create a visual triangle. I play around for a long time with this, a bunch of different shapes, move things around, and ultimately I can't really find anything that I like or that I feel like fits the way that I want it to, so I end up just going with 2 of the circles. So the Subway gray circle sticker on the right hand side, and then that pink circle on the left hand side. And then that's pretty much going to wrap it up. I do have some still shots of this spread that I will bring in at the end of the video. I do not have any still shots yet of my first spread because I haven't added my journaling just yet. So be on the lookout for that finished project on Instagram. I will post it there once I have the journaling added on. But here you can see things in a little bit more detail and a little bit more close up. I hope to be back again soon with a new layout and process video. Thank you so much for watching.